Well, hi once again, everybody. Welcome to what promises to be another terrific edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, coming to you as usual from the gorgeous Rigel Studios right in the heart of entertainment capital of the world. And of course, that's downtown. Not downtown, that's just minutes away from the world famous Las Vegas Strip. But we're not too far from downtown either. But anyway, always love being here. We've got a great show for you today. It's going to be a little bit about golf because our guest is a very avid golfer. He loves the game, which is going to, of course, help and boost the content. But we're going to be talking politics, as you know. I often do. We've had a great opportunity to have on all the previous Republican gubernatorial candidates for the great state of Nevada, and we have another one for you on today. So let me just give you a brief little background on him before we bring Tom up on camera. As I mentioned, Tom Heck is a declared candidate for the governor of Nevada. Tom has a very, very impressive military career, having served in the United States Air Force for about 22 years. And he retired as a lieutenant colonel in 1998. During that service, Tom earned 6 meritorious service medals and a presidential commendation award from then President George H.W. Bush. Tom Heck is also he has experience in the world of politics. Tom ran for U.S. Senate in both 2016 and 2018, coming in second then to losing the primary to Dean Heller, former Secretary of State. Tom's decision to run for Nevada governor is concentrated in his commitment not only for the people of the state of Nevada, but the entire country as well. You can go to thomasheck.org and see lots more detail, and also give you a chance to, of course, help him out by putting something in the tip jar. So without further ado, let's bring up our guest of honor on the show today and welcome Tom Heck to the show. And Tom, how are things up in Reno where you're part of the country?
Well, it's pretty good now. We've only gotten rid of some of the smoke, so our air quality is much better.
Yeah.
And sun shining, cool mornings, and just a great day. Actually, be a great day for golf.
I hear you. I love that. Tom, I think everybody would agree that everybody who knows you, that reads your CV, you've had a tremendous military career in the Air Force, and you're to be congratulated in that. How does that, however, translate into getting you into politics?
Well, I think the big thing about it is that it translates in that we were always about results. It was about mission, producing results, using common sense solution, and getting successful outcomes. I had and working with people and being a leader for people. You gotta work with people, and you gotta lead people, and always do the right thing. And so I think that was really the forte, and that's what I'm going to bring to the citizens of Nevada. That skill set.
That's I like that, and that's what needs to be done. I mentioned before, just a while ago, you ran for the U.S. Senate twice in 2016, 2018. From that experience, Tom, what do you take away from that helps you from having that experience in running for governor of the state of Nevada?
Well, I think you learn what works and what doesn't work, and again, it's running for office is about dollars per vote, and I've learned over the years that there's some things that work and some things that don't work, and that's why I've been so successful. I had a Google Ads campaign in 18, and that campaign I spent I don't know, $8,000 or $10,000, and I reached over 250,000 people. My videos saw that many. And there were 750,000 impressions. So with a little more money and devotion from the people in Nevada to make me the next governor, that will lead to success, and we'll be the next governor of Nevada. I'm going to do the best I can for the citizens.
I've talked to a lot of and know a lot of political figures in the state of Nevada and other places. Would you agree with me or agree with most of them that probably the hardest damn thing you could do in a campaign is to raise money?
Absolutely. It's hard. It's hard to get people to engage this early in the process. I've started early for that reason, and I'm focusing on basically getting my name out there, talking to the influencers, and then also fundraising. But you're right. People don't engage until the last 4 to 6 weeks in an election, and so to get them to engage now, to understand that you really are the guy for the job, takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, and asking for people for money is not an easy thing, Tom. You and I both know that, and it just takes a certain mindset, a certain skill set, and it's difficult for a lot of people. But when you're in the political ring and it makes or breaks you, so to speak, you've got to get over that and learn that lesson very quickly. One of your objectives, if you are elected, Tom, is to cut the state's budget by 10%. Certainly not a new and novel idea in politics. I think you know that. First, over what period of time will this take place? And secondly, where are you going to start?
Well, it's a pretty easy process, and when I'm the next governor, you basically start out with critical success factors, which that's a business approach, and then you look at the strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. But I did something very similar when I was the deputy director of public works for the city of Reno, and while I was there, I basically put a hiring freeze on until I had 10% cut. And what I found is more people were working, more things were getting done, people were happier, and productivity went up. We were serving our citizens much better than we had all that extra people that we don't need. It is clear to me, in talking to people that work for the state and have been in the state, that a 10% cut is going to increase productivity, and we're just going to look at the program. What are the critical success factors? And what is the importance of this particular initiative? And if it's not doing what it's supposed to do, we're going to cancel them and start over.
Right. Why
and
do
that's
you...
what I bring to Nevada, is more improved productivity and effectiveness from the staff.
That's great. Why do you think in the first place, Tom, that in every governor's budget or whatever, there seems to be the inclusion of more and more fat? Is it just a question of they're able to get more money, the government prints more money, there's duplication, whatever you want to call it? Why do you think that happens? Why don't you think they have the mindset of, no, I've got to run my office like a tight ship? There's no fat, there's no nothing.
Well, the answer is that their effort, when I talked to the legislature, their focus was how much we're going to increase the budget. But then I stopped them and I says, well, yeah, but how do you look at programs that aren't working? Well, we don't. That's got to stop. We need to look at all the programs, determine which are working. Right. And I'm not saying doing away with the programs necessarily, but I'm talking about starting over and revamping them and make them to produce what they're supposed to produce. And we're not doing that now. We just ramp up the money and think taxpayers are going to keep opening their wallets for the government. That needs to stop. And we need to get back to a baseline budget that actually works and supports the people. The government right now in Nevada, it is non-responsive to the people.
Yeah. And I guess maybe that's inherent, whether it's on a state level, Tom, or our federal government. There just seems to be duplication over and over and over again. And I think that's what really ticks a lot of people off. Let me ask
you that for the state,
go ahead.
The state, they are hired contractors while staff is sitting around doing nothing. So I'm going to cut back on the contractors to the point where we're making, let staff do those things, because the staff needs to be doing those things. That's what they're paid for. They don't get to sit back and watch contractors do their work.
Yeah. You know what?
We need someone to do that.
Yeah. You know what's going on in California. It's a nightmare. Gas is $6 a gallon and rising, and it's just unbelievable. And this is from somebody that was born and raised in California. So, but anyway, a lot of people are very critical of our governor currently because he seems to be following the lead. Governor Newsom seems to be mentoring him as far as what is working for California, not necessarily for Nevada, but Sisolak is adopting that. How do you feel about that? Do you think there's some symbiotic relationship between those two guys, California and Nevada?
Off the top of my head, I have no evidence to back that up. But I do think that our governor is weak. You know, for the most part, all he's ever done is be a commissioner. And he's taking away our freedoms. That mask and vaccine mandate, that needs to go away. And on day one, when I'm elected the next governor, I'm going to eliminate that. And we're going to get back to freedom of speech. And people need to be comfortable speaking their mind. I talk to people every day. They're not comfortable speaking their piece or speaking their mind. And we need to stop that. We need to go back to where we were 10 or 15 years ago when it was live and let live, and sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. We're so sensitive nowadays that we get in our own way.
More than well said, and that's very, very, very true. As you know, Tom, we're losing a lot of vital income in Nevada, particularly in southern Nevada, in the Las Vegas Valley, with the cancellation of large conventions and tourism happenings. What are your plans to get some of that back and even increase and promote conventions, entertainment, and getting more of the right kind of teachers in our public schools, because that has become a real problem?
Well, the day after my inauguration, we're going to have Burn the Mask Day.
Once
we get rid of the masks, people will start coming back to Las Vegas. And then after that is basically helping those business. But I don't know if you know, but the crime rate in Las Vegas is greater than New York City. And who is responsible for that? Obviously, the answer is the sheriff. So we need to change that. And so I'm going to put pressure on reducing the crime rate. When you eliminate the masks and reduce the crime rate, people are going to come back to Las Vegas. Education is another big issue. If you look at an agenda, at least I can speak for Washoe County School Board, the agenda, 90% of the agenda has nothing to do with improving learning outcomes for the kids, improving their life experience and their life's education, and allowing them to be successful in adult life to raise a family and kids. We're not doing any of that. We're focusing on CRT. In Nevada, over the last 8 years, we have increased the budget 40%. We give our kids the same amount of money that Florida does, Governor DeSantis, who's one of my heroes, and they are number 3 in the nation. Nevada has successfully spent 40% more money, and we have achieved 49th and 50th for the last umpty years. That has to stop. That's what I will do.
That's incredible. That's a good answer. And I've got a really good follow-up for you right after this. But stay with us. We're going to step away, take a short break. And when we do come back, we'll have a lot with our special guest, gubernatorial candidate Tom Heck. See you right after this.
When I first learned about Encore, I was a little taken back because I didn't know much about the ball. I went out and played a couple rounds with it, and I was just extremely surprised how this ball made up for what I was looking for in a golf ball 20 years ago. It's a very straight ball. It launches a little higher than other balls that I've used, which is ideal for the tour because we're playing firm and fast greens. A lot of the balls do fly very similar, but this ball reacts so much differently around the greens and inside 100 yards than any other ball I've ever played. The combination of this ball is the best ball that I've ever played.
All right, we are back, everybody, continuing our conversation with Tom Heck. And just a real quick thing, go to clickatgolf.com if you want to sign up for those daily divots. You get them in the morning. They're the funniest things that they show you that happen in the world of golf. It'll get a smile on your face, get you a great attitude going out the door to go to work. But anyway, back with our gubernatorial candidate for governor, Tom Heck. Tom, homelessness has become a real concern and a real problem here in the Las Vegas Valley, as well as throughout the country, actually, and you're aware of that. What are your plans, if elected, to combat homelessness, and what would your first step be after getting into office?
Well, first off, I'm a behavioralist. What does that mean? It means you look at human behavior and it only continues based on some reward system. I had a discussion with a business owner. She was very much concerned about the homeless person standing outside her business in Reno. And then I talked to a council member in Reno, and her answer was she's working with the churches. Well, that's fine, but this behavior is being rewarded. So you have to look at the different behaviors that are being rewarded. And each of those behaviors you have to analyze and determine, why are we rewarding that behavior, and stop rewarding that behavior. My plan is ultimately to work with the legal system, but they say, the statistics I heard, 75% of those people have mental issues. So the choice is jail or basically go into a care facility that will get them off their addictions. But ultimately, you have to examine what are we as a government rewarding that's continuing to produce that behavior, stop that reward system, and then get them the care that they need.
Well, I don't know if you'll disagree with me, but I agree with what you say. There's some mental issues there. There's some personal tragedies and stuff, but you still have to work with the police, don't you, in helping to curb this problem?
Well, absolutely. But the problem in our country now, for the most part, it's not the police. Everybody's focusing on the police. It's the district's attorney and the people that are relaying charges and the people that are making offers to the homeless. They need to prosecute them if they're violating the law. There wasn't too long ago that setting up tents on city streets was illegal.
Yeah.
And if you tried to do that, they removed it and took you away to jail.
Right.
So there's no consequences for bad behavior, and there needs to be.
Right. You know how bad it is down here, again, where it's a concern not only to the residents, but to the tourists that are coming to the Las Vegas Strip. How is that situation up in northern Nevada where you are in the greater Reno area?
Well, it's very much similar. We have not taken action. We have built an $11 million facility in the city. So if you don't want the homeless in the city, why would you build a facility in the city? Second off, this facility has about, I call it a logistics tail, about a $2 million logistic tail for pieces and parts and staff. And so it's a huge expense, but my understanding, it's not very full. And so we need to get district's attorney to give people a choice. Either they go to health care or mental care, or they go to jail.
Yeah.
But why should the good citizens who are following the law, trying to run a business, make a life for their family, should suffer from this disgusting habit that's happening in our cities?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a very unfortunate situation for, I would guess, most of these people that eventually end up homeless. It's tragic, but there has to be a well thought out, doable solution to this thing to get a grasp on this problem. Tom, let me ask you.
Well, we used to have mental health facilities, and they used to go to the mental health facilities so they could get the care they need.
Right.
And some people just can't function in real life.
Yeah.
But we don't do that anymore, and so now they're left on the streets. And there's a reward system that's keeping them there and increasing their numbers almost daily.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Tom, what is your definition? What's the definition of Tom Heck as far as the American dream? What is that to Thomas Heck? And how are you going to help people in the state of Nevada obtain their American dream?
Well, first and foremost, we need to get the government out of the way. That's really the problem. People are afraid to speak up. People are not getting in our schools, are obviously not getting educated the way they should, and they're not being provided opportunity. This is the land of freedom and the land of opportunity. We provide people opportunity. Everybody that wants to go to college, as best I know, goes to college. We need to basically motivate people for careers. Either it's a college education or it's VOTEC. I have a brother that went to VOTEC and became very successful. So we need to focus on providing guidance. As I understand it, we used to have guidance counselors in our schools. We don't have that anymore. I remember when I was in high school, I would go to the guidance counselor once every 3 or 4 months, and they would advise me about career opportunities and where I go. I ended up at the Air Force Academy. I ended up with 3 graduate degrees. And that skill set is what I'm now bringing to be the next governor of Nevada. That's what I'm going to bring to the citizens and help them be successful and help them have the American dream.
Tom, I hear that, and you probably have too, but I want to ask you, I hear that vocational schools are now the new universities. Have you heard that, or what's your feelings about that?
I have not heard that, but I do know that when I was in school, we had shop classes, we had home ec. We need to continue that dual track. So, plumbers are making over $100 an hour, electricians probably more.
Right.
So there's a big opportunity. Everybody has a different American dream.
Right.
We need our schools focusing on the people in schools and the students and getting them their American dream, whichever path they choose. We need to facilitate that, and we need to stop fooling around with political indoctrination of our kids and bringing Marxism and socialism to our schools, which to me is just totally unacceptable. And I'm going to issue an executive order on day 1 when I'm the next governor. Stopping that.
Stopping that, exactly right. Let me just preface this leading up to my next question. Nevada, and particularly Southern Nevada, Las Vegas Valley, has always had and will continue to have an influx of people that are moving here. Sure, it's greatly accelerated now because of the coronavirus, because of the pandemic, but there are areas in Nevada, and
I can't hear what you're saying.
You can't hear what I'm saying?
Audio.
Oh boy. Okay. Hold on a second. We're going to get that checked. You okay? Can you hear me?
Good commercial.
All right. We're going to get that fixed. Don't worry about it. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back with Tom Heck. We'll get the audio taken care of, and we will continue. Stay with us. Hey golfers, I've been a golf talk show host for a long time, and I've been playing golf even longer. Being in golf media, I've had the chance to play every ball ever made. I've tried them all. Well, my search is finally over because I found the best ball I have ever played with, and more golfers are finding the same thing. I started playing with the Elixir golf ball made by Encore Golf. Encore Golf has revolutionized both their golf balls, the Elixir or the Avant 55, or the brand new Vero X1, to where the performance of either will simply blow you away. It did me. If you're looking for better performance and durability with your ball, Encore Golf has it. Don't just take my word for it. Check them out at EncoreGolf.com and you'll become convinced, as I am, the first time you tee it up with Encore. It's the best performing ball for the price. Go to EncoreGolf.com and see for yourself. Your scorers will love you for it. That's ONCORE golf.com.
One of the buzzwords happening in golf is the word lag. You hear it all the time, but what is it, and how do I get it? Lag simply is the loading of the club to help produce tons of power in your golf swing. Up until now, getting lag into your swing has been very hard. Introducing the Lag Shot, a brand new proven training aid being praised by some of the leading PGA Tour instructors across the globe. This practice aid trains your hands, arms and body how to make a powerful, efficient golf swing with an amazing amount of lag. Lag Shot is a 7-iron length club with the same loft and lie with a whippy, flexible blue shaft and a beautiful jet black club head. After you master the lag shot, your game will change forever with a stress-free swing, more power and more distance with lower scores every time you play. Go to lagshotgolf.com, and you'll see why this truly is becoming the #1 training aid in golf. Visit lagshotgolf.com.
All right, we're back. Let's see if we have helped this quagmire. I don't even know what that word means, but I like it. We lost some audio with Tom, and let's see if we have gotten it back. Tom, can you hear me?
Yep, we're good to go.
All right, there you go. I got to thank my man Rick. He's right on top of it. But anyway, I was going to say, and even if we couldn't finish the show, you're going to be here in Vegas next week anyway, so we'll just bring you in and, finish off here. But let me ask you this. Population always coming to Southern Nevada despite the pandemic, but in other parts of Nevada, Tom, the amount of people that are leaving has greatly increased, like in Douglas County. That's not talked about. Why are they leaving? They can't afford a house. The schools suck. They don't like the education their kids are getting. They've gotten laid off from their job completely, or their hours have gotten cut back. Crime to some degree. What are some of the things that you're going to do as governor to continually incentivize people to move here, businesses to move here, corporations to move here to do business in Nevada? And I'm glad you're back with us.
Well, the first thing we got to do is stop the suppression of free speech, get rid of the masks, which the masks and the mandated vaccines are basically affecting people. People are tired of that and fed up, and they know it's infringing on their constitutional rights. Once we get rid of those things, then we can focus on the economy and getting people back to work. But right now, we're spending all this money that came out of the stimulus package on things that are not helping people and things and making things better for the people in Nevada. And what we need is someone that focuses on perfection and is a problem solver, but settles for excellence. And I'm the best problem solver there is, because I spent 23 years focusing on outcomes and successful solutions that make lives better for citizens and make lives better for the people that work for me.
That's I like that. That's well said. I've had some people ask me, well, your guest is, absolutely has a stellar record in the Air Force, retiring as a lieutenant colonel. Does he fly? And when I tell them no, he's too damn tall to fly, they won't let him get in an airport, they don't believe me. They don't believe me. Is that one of the things you missed about being in the Air Force?
No, I had a passion as a child to be an engineer. I wanted to be a civil engineer. And I went to academy and became a civil engineer in the Air Force. And at Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield, California, I managed an $834 million 5-year design construction program with $200 million being built and constructed and put in the ground. So I love being an engineer. And why did I love being an engineer? Well, engineers are very systematic in their problem solving. You determine what the problem is, you determine what the givens are, and then you look at alternatives to provide successful outcomes that improve the lives of citizens, or in the case of engineering, that basically solve the engineering problem.
Right.
I've solved all kinds of problems, focusing on perfection, settling for excellence, and that's what I'm going to bring to the citizens of Nevada when they elect me as the next governor.
Would you consider yourself a little bit nerdy? Because all the engineers I know are a little bit nerdy, and I'm not saying that in a disparaging way. They're very methodical.
Well, I suppose, most people consider engineers a little bit nerdy. Maybe I'm a little bit socially awkward, but I love talking to people one-on-one. But the bottom line is, you've seen my resume. I've overseen over 50 different functional areas. Functional areas being like public works, fire department, police, over 50 functional areas. Most of the rest of the candidates running are one-trick ponies. They know one thing, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that's going to bring successful outcomes to our state.
That's a good point. You know, you're well aware of, Tom, your opponents, who your opponents are in this race for governor. What are one or two of the things that you really think sets you apart from all of your competition?
Well, I think the biggest thing, as I mentioned earlier, is problem solving. This is all about problem solving and a mission focus to produce results. I mean, I've heard different candidates talk about fighting. Fighting doesn't mean you did anything. I can fight all day long and produce nothing. It's about producing results. And I'm the guy who 23 years in the Air Force, 23 years in the Air Force, almost 23 years in the Air Force, produced results. I spent 9 years in local government producing results. And I was the guy people always looked to when things were failing and no one else. For instance, in El Dorado County, there were 7 general service directors in 5 years. And they needed someone like me to clean up the problems.
Yep. And
That's what I bring to Nevada.
you would be a good guy for it. You call Governor Sisolak a woke politician. Tell us what you mean by that.
I also called him a weak politician. You know, we need someone
Woke
tough.
and weak. Okay.
Woke and weak, absolutely. He's basically forcing people to do things that make no sense. You know that his mask mandate is basically ludicrous. You know, if you look on the package for a mask, it says does not protect against viruses. So what is this insanity we're doing wearing masks?
Yep.
And basically, and he's wrecked our economy. So yeah, he's woke by doing all these things that he's doing because I guess they feel good, but they certainly don't feel good to the people wearing masks and are being forced to take vaccines. Vaccines are something between the doctor and the patient.
Right.
Government needs to stay out of it, and that's what I'm going to do when I'm the next governor of the state of Nevada.
Yeah, amen to that. I agree with you 100%. I mentioned also you're going to be here in Las Vegas this coming Saturday in a couple of days. So you're going to be here for a couple of weeks. Number one, what are your intentions when you're here? Intentions when you're here for a couple of weeks, and more importantly, Tom, are you bringing your golf clubs so we could get out and play some golf, dude?
Well, I'm glad you're talking about the important stuff. Yeah,
Exactly.
We need to get out there and smack that white ball around and see if we can beat it.
Exactly.
I think I'm better at campaigning than beating that ball around, but I love to play. You know, I tell people I go out on the golf course first thing in the morning, and I don't play until I'm tired. I play until dark. So yeah, I'm going to come down there. Yeah, we'll get together and play golf. But I'm down there primarily to get my name out, to talk to those people that really will help me help influence others. But it's about getting my name out. You know, most of the time when I go to meetings and talk and meet people, it takes me about 5 minutes, and usually most people walk away saying they're going to vote for me. So it's really about letting people hear my story, getting onto my website, thomasheck.org, and basically understanding the breadth and depth of my experience and education, and knowing that that's the skill set I'm bringing to Nevada, solve Nevada's problems, and make the American dream come true for the people in Nevada that are now suffering without it.
There you go. Are you going to have any kind of an agenda where people here will be able to find you, will be able to see you when you're down in Las Vegas, as far as holding any functions or having any speeches anywhere, anything like that, Tom?
I have my campaign manager down there working an agenda, and I'm going to come down there and go to as many places and talk as many places as I possibly can. But more importantly, on my website, you'll find a phone number, 775-393-0500. I answer that number. And people kind of laugh and say, really? I says, no, I answer every call. I did that during the 2018, my Senate campaign, and I do it now. They can just call me, 775-393-0500, and I'm happy to talk to them and tell them my story and why I'm the best candidate that will make their lives better and help them achieve their American dream.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I am so looking forward to meeting you in person when you're here. I know we'll get together for dinner, hopefully one night or lunch, depending on what your schedule is, and get out and hit some golf balls and get to know each other a little bit. And great information today. I appreciate your vision. and so go out to a lot of people, and we wish you the best of luck in the campaign, and to have you back on the show sooner than later, Tom. Thank you.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. cthomasheck.org for those that want to know more.
Thanks. Take care. All right, Thomas Heck, everybody, our candidate for governor. All right, we're going to step away, take another break. Before we do, we're going to give you the game improvement tip of the week, brought to you by Scratch Golf Academy and Adam Bazalgette, 3-time PGA Teacher of the Year. Always good stuff. We'll see you on the other side.
Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy, with another game improvement tip for the 19th hole podcast for golfers. Let's have a look at pitching. Not talking really big long shots, nor just by the green, those kind of delicate intermediate ones, maybe 12 to 25, 30 yards. When you want control, you want less snap of the wrist, less pop in the club head. That's great for speeds, great if you're trying to hit a full shot or a drive. In this case, though, we certainly don't want to be rigid. Hey, the club has to release, but in a much more soft, tempered way. So here's the drill I want you to do. Choke down with your trail hand to the bottom of the handle here, makes the club a little more manageable and light. Get your feet close together. Do this without a ball initially. Preset your weight a bit towards the target and make some swings where maybe my trail hand gets about hip high. You will start to feel much more distinctly if there's flip down there. Again, it should release a little bit, but not drastically. You'll also feel, because of the weight of the club and a little bit insecure with only one hand on there, that your right side, your trail side, has to flow and float through there. You try a one-hand drill with no body movement, you will not have good results. So let's try a couple practice swings. Get over that ball. Made pretty good contact. I can also tell the club stopped about when I stopped. Fosters that feel of the body moving more in harmony with the club, which prevents so much handsiness. Try this drill. I think it will help you.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
All right, that's about it for this edition of the 19th Hole podcast for golfers. Great interview with Tom Eck. We wish him well, as we do in all our candidates for the gubernatorial race. By the way, just not a shameless plug, but a plug. Very soon, going to have a new show coming to you from Rigel Studios called Senior Delinquents. I'm going to co-host it with a very good friend of mine, Jamie McWilliams, who's a producer director for the Traveling Golfer Show that's seen on TV in various parts of the country. It's going to be a short feature. It's going to be about 10, 12 minutes, and we're going to kind of dive into various topics that I think most people that are going to look at it can relate to, and we're just going to give it a little bit different slant as far as our opinions, our viewpoints, and that type of thing. So we hope you look for Senior Delinquents very, very soon. All right, that's going to wrap it up. We hope you get out and play some golf when you can and keep it in the short stuff until next week, same time, same place. I'm Dennis Silvers. We'll see you again, everybody. So long.